Greetings to one and all present here. I am Deepak, pursuing my first year chemical engineering at UCT, and today I am going to host this session. Let's start this session with a powerful invocation by Vivikta. Vivikta, over to you.
Thank you, Deepak. Powerful we are, compassionate we are, genius we are, adventurous we are, distinctive we are, beautiful we are, revolutionaries we are, empathetic we are, courageous we are, grateful we are, attentive we are, learners we are, incitement we are, heartful we are, inspiring we are, leaders we are, zealous we are, champions we are, powerful we are. Thank you.
Oh,
Nice.
thanks for such a good invocation, Vivikta. So now let us hear a gratitude story from Nivedita. Nivedita, over to you.
Thank you, Deepak. Now, our gratitude team is again back with an exclusive gratitude story. So, I went to a bank for completing my form, and there a person came asking me for help. I helped him. It was not a big deal to fill a form, but something he said was very precious. He said he was visiting from 3 days the bank, but no one had responded to him or helped him. But the day God has destined me to help him, and he was very grateful for that. He thanked me several times while filling the form. Each time he thanked me, I felt very special and happy. Sometimes just saying a thank you can make someone feel very happy. Thank you, everyone. You have very beautiful smile. Let it glow with your kind heart. From Praneeth. Thank you.
Wow, such a sweet story. Thank you, Nivedita. And Sunday is back, and we too are back with powerful and inspiring THOP Talk. And today we have Sukumar Rajagopal Garu as our THOP speaker. We procrastinate things, knowingly or unknowingly. In our daily life, our speaker is here to tell us about Tiny Grit, which helps us build our to-do tasks. Sir has 33 years of experience in IT service industry, runs a digital transformation and behavior transformation enabler startup. Sir served as Senior Vice President, Global Chief Information Officer, and Global Head of Innovation. Sir, as CXO in Cognizant, led award-winning transformation programs in IT, innovation culture, and delivery management. Sir also received lifetime recognition for his work in IT through the 2014 Computer World Premiere 100 IT Leaders Program, and it is rated by Huffington Post as one of top 100 social CIOs in 2014 and 2013. Wow, that is really amazing. And sir, it's all over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice that you all started with gratitude and invocation. Very nice. I will start my session. Oh, okay, great.
My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We went to the National Spelling Bee and tried to predict which children would advance farthest in competition. We studied rookie teachers working in really tough neighborhoods, asking which teachers are still going to be here in teaching by the end of the school year. And of those, who will be the most effective at improving learning outcomes for their students? We partnered with private companies asking which of these salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who's going to earn the most money. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success. And it wasn't social intelligence, it wasn't good looks, physical health, and it wasn't IQ. It was grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. What I do know is that talent doesn't make you gritty. Our data show very clearly that there are many talented individuals who simply do not follow through on their commitments. In fact, in our data, grit is usually unrelated or even inversely related to measures of talent?
So any reactions to that video? It'll be interactive, so you can post on the chat box or you can unmute and speak. What did you pick up from that? What insight did you pick up from that, or anything that impressed you in that video? Consistency, okay. So AN is here. Hey, AN. There's something very intuitive or counterintuitive.
Sir,
Yeah,
I love
Triveni.
I love the words passion and perseverance towards our goals.
Yeah, that's very nice. There's something counterintuitive, she said. I don't know if you picked up on it towards the very end of it. Something about talent.
Grit is unrelated to talent or inversely related to talent.
Yeah, that's very surprising, isn't it? That grit is even more important than talent, right? So that was, this is actually a longer talk. You can go through it, as well as the book Grit you can read. It's a very good book. So let me start my presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my story started with, I run a startup called Tiny Magiq, as it was read out in my intro. About 3-4 years back, I decided to create an investor deck. Me and my co-founder decided the task fell upon me. And before I sent it to any actual investor, I decided I will send it to one of my friends who's a CEO, and he's my classmate from college, and he's a marketing whiz. So I sent the deck to him to get his feedback. A couple of days later, he sent a note back saying, Sukumar, there's a nice deck, but there is no story in it. And I go, duh. I have been a teacher of storytelling for more than 15 years. Although the technique that I teach has changed, I am a teacher and very passionate about storytelling all the same. How is it that in my own deck, I didn't use the technique that I was teaching? And I'm also a firm believer in the practicing what you preach philosophy. So I don't teach anything that I don't personally practice myself. So how come in one of the most important decks of my company that I didn't use the storytelling techniques that I taught? So this kind of intrigued me, right? Why is this happening? And through my research, I realized that for you to try something that is hard, storytelling is kind of an art form, and you keep practicing it and you develop it. Those of you familiar with storytelling techniques like AN would attest to that. So I realized that I needed willpower to keep trying it, even though it may not come out nicely at first. Now, I'd like all of you to post on your chat box, what are the tasks that you do for which you need willpower? And we need to keep this quick so we can get through this. And I can't read the chat box. Somebody has to read it out for me, please.
So we need willpower whenever we want to start something new.
Yeah. Give an example of a task and speak from your personal experience, not in general what needs willpower.
Yes. If I want to get up early, I really need a lot of perseverance and willpower to do that.
Correct. Very good. Anybody else? Waking up early. Very good. Quickly, we'll do 2 or 3 to see if a pattern emerges.
Yes, sir. To start something new, which I have don't know about much more about it, I will really need the willpower, because that is something new for me, which I don't know anything.
What is an example of that? Again, speak from things that you already tried, not
Yes,
a theoretical example.
Some theoretical, because learning theoretically is okay, sir, but doing that in a practical way.
No, that's what I want, an example from you.
Okay, sir.
What did you try for which you? I told you about storytelling, right? My own experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, when I went through the software, learning of the software, when it comes to the code, I really need a willpower because that is the when the area that I really don't know. Firstly, it will be something completely new, but after some time we will get. But to start exactly what we don't know, to start we need a great willpower, sir. I hope you got
Okay,
it.
very good, very good. Yeah, one more. Let's do one more
Thank you, sir.
quickly.
Sir, I think going to school or college after so many days of break, I think that needs willpower. This is the problem which I had during my summer vacations.
Okay, after vacation, going to school is hard. Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's good. So let's just move ahead. What I realized is that storytelling, relationship, proactive learning. I put retirement planning here, but I think I should change it to financial planning, investments, and planning, which I didn't do for a long, long time. So that led me to this famous matrix called the Eisenhower Covey matrix. It's from the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I modified it a little bit. On the y-axis, you have importance, high, low, and you have on the x-axis urgency, high, low. So all those three things that you mentioned, learning software, waking up early, in which zone does it fit in this diagram, on this diagram? And this corporate storytelling, all of these. I need some quick answers.
It falls into green zone, according to me.
Correct. You're right. Bingo. So anything that it is important, right? But it is not urgent. So we tend to procrastinate on it. For example, okay, so I usually teach this as part of the digital transformation program, but the digital transformation training program is also a green zone task for which we don't have time for. Exercise and fitness. I struggled for 17 years to try to get fit. And why did I struggle? Because it's a green zone task. Everybody knows that we need to do exercise and be fit, but we don't have the time for it. So you will notice that there is a consistent pattern in our lives. Whichever is a high importance, we are mostly in the reactive zone. Whatever is important, you are studying in college, you are studying for if you are like me, I hope you are not like me. The exam is tomorrow, I start studying tonight. Right? You always live in this high importance, high urgency, and then you get stressed out and then you go into the entertainment zone, which is watching TV, whatever is your favorite relaxation, social media now, all that. That leaves us with the illusion that we don't have time for these green zone tasks. So if you ask people why they don't exercise, they will say they don't have time. And I was also giving that excuse for a long time. So for all green zone tasks, you need willpower, right? This is the interesting thing. Now there is a character my co-founder invented, which we call the tiny demon. It's part of the intellectual property of Tiny Magiq. This is the character that distracts you. For example, I'm thinking, hey, tomorrow morning I'll wake up at 6:30 a.m. and go to the gym. 6:30 a.m. comes, the tiny demon whispers in my ears, hey, it's Monday morning. Oh, it's just sleep for another half an hour, hit the snooze. And that ends my gym program for that day. And I decide I will do it the next day, kind of thing. So this tiny demon character is the one that distracts us from doing the green zone tasks. It would rather keep us in the reactive and entertainment zone. So we need to conquer this tiny demon. Now it appears, and if you did the study and my 17-year struggle and so on, this tiny demon seems to be very, very strong. And the willpower doesn't seem to be enough to beat the tiny demon. So I was researching what was going on. Why am I not able to overcome the tiny demon? And I came across some interesting thing about the brain itself. So I'll give you a factoid that you might not have heard of. The conscious brain processes 40 packets of information per second. Can any of you guess how much does the subconscious process in 1 second? And you have to do this quickly if you have to get through this material.
1,000.
What is your wildest guess?
AN put 1 billion there in the chat.
Yeah, this 1 billion is a bit high. It's actually 11 million packets of information per second.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. And you can read more about this book in the book Strangers to Ourselves by Timothy Wilson. It's a very erudite kind of book. If you're not into this neuro kind of thing, don't read it. But this factoid comes from this book. There is some fascinating experiments given there, which I'm not sure we'll have the time. I will come back to it if we have the time. So now so you can think of the conscious brain as the snail and the subconscious as the rocket ship. Now, which is the tiny demon riding? Is it riding the snail or the rocket ship? The rocket ship, correct? Because we procrastinate more, right? We don't do something more often than we actually do when it comes to green zone tasks. Whereas the willpower is still a conscious effort, which this 40 packets can never beat this 11 million packets. This is why we are constantly losing against the tiny demon. So if we have to win the willpower battle, we need to create a subconscious process so that we can also ride the rocket ship and beat the tiny demon. And by some lucky accident, I came across this tiny habits method of Professor B.J. Fogg of the Stanford University. I came across this almost 10 years ago. And it started simply. After brushing teeth, I will do 2 push-ups. I am 54 years old. Can you guess how many push-ups I can do at one go?
Maybe 10.
10, okay.
100.
100. I wish I could. I can actually do 60 push-ups at one go. And if you're skeptical that I can actually do it, there is a video of me doing 55 push-ups in the Tiny Magiq channel, which you can go through. I recently increased to 60, about recently in the sense Feb of this year, in the beginning of this year. For about 7-8 years, I did only 50. That itself was hard for me. Now, 2 push-ups puts me at the bottom 5% of my age group. Ability to do 60 push-ups puts me at the top 5 to 10% of my age group. So I can go from rank bad to top of the class kind of performance. So this is a very simple technique which we are going to learn in this class shortly. Now I surprised myself by getting to 50 push-ups at one go in under a year. In 353 days or so, I hit this 50 push-up mark. So the interesting thing, if I look back at my 17-year struggle, was whenever I traveled, I will fall off of the bandwagon. Now I was a senior executive. Even AN was also a senior executive in Cognizant. We had to travel all the time. So whenever I travel, especially international travel, which takes 2-3 weeks at a time, I stop exercising. Now the beauty of this tiny habits method was I could do it in the hotel right next to the bed. No equipment, no gym, nothing needed. And I have the unique record of doing it on an international flight. I went to the steward and said, hey, I need to do my exercise. He pointed at one area, I did it. My fellow passengers might have thought that I am weird or whatever it is that they were thinking, but I didn't care. I wanted to not lose my habit. Now, over a period of time, I grew that into a 1.5 hours daily, 6 days a week habit, which I did today also. So this has been a life-changing, transformational thing. And in fact, if you read the book Tiny Habits, Professor Fogg has put a chapter on my own transformation story. He was kind enough to do that. Now, what is interesting about this whole thing is around the 5-year mark, I noticed that I don't procrastinate that much on the green zone toss. I still procrastinate. And now I have crossed 110,000 push-ups or so cumulatively. I don't procrastinate as much as I used to on green zone toss. I decide to do it, I just get it done, which is very interesting. How did that happen? It's because it's a subconscious process, and that is what is the tiny grit. So I want to give you a calculation on the tiny demon versus the tiny grit. Previously, I used to do 3 days a week, and my best record until that point was 90 days. So even if I did 3 days a week, out of 120 days, I would have done 48. And I gave an arbitrary number of 100 effort units for each hour of exercise. And I calculated that to be 192,000, which is 48 multiplied by 40 multiplied by 100. Now, if you look at the procrastination or the no action, as I said, I do this countless number of times, right? I decide to go to the gym. My wife is watching a nice movie. I sit down and I watch it. I procrastinate. So I have to I have to send a proposal to a client. I will send it. I keep procrastinating on things. So that's how it's multiplied by the rocket ship. So 192 versus 1.1. You can do the math and see who is going to win, right? Obviously, the tiny demon is winning. Sorry, my phone started. Whereas through tiny habits, because I did it every day, even though it is less than a minute, it takes me to do 60 push-ups less than a minute. So that gets multiplied by 11 million. Now you can see my tiny grit is 10x stronger than my procrastination. So my willpower is now 10x more than what I started with, which is why procrastination has stopped. So we call this version of it tiny grit. Now the tiny demon is powered by limiting beliefs, which are like, I can't do it, I am not good at this. I collected about 50 limiting beliefs, which if you all want, I can send you later. You can actually watch a video on the Tiny Magiq YouTube channel that goes more into detail about these limiting beliefs. Whenever the tiny demon is winning, you can be sure that there is a limiting belief underneath. Chief amongst them is, I don't have time. But there are many more. I am not capable. I don't have time. I am lazy. I don't have motivation. Several things come to the fore. So we chose, after a lot of research, we have taken maybe around 2,500 people through this program. And we think that these 6 exercises, if you choose, it gives you tiny grit faster. Push-ups, plank, Surya Namaskar. Super brain is the one that when I was a child, my teacher made me do it as punishment. I don't know if you all still do it. Burpees and tiny cardio is a list of 8 exercises that we have developed. So please choose one of these. So our intention is to build tiny grit. We are now going to learn the tiny habit method. We are all creatures of habits, right? I am sure you will all agree with it. But habits have a unique pattern. There is a trigger, and then that trigger relates to a habit. And the best example I often give is, I am hungry and I eat. Hunger is the trigger. Eating is the habit. So like that, everything that you do in your life can be shown that they are actually habits. Which is why it is easy to prove that we are creatures of habits. Professor B.J. Fogg came up with a brilliant insight of using an existing habit as a trigger. If you remember my push-up example, brushing teeth is a habit I had, and I think all of you have as well. And you connect the new habit, which is 2 push-ups, to the existing habit. So to your subconscious brain, it appears as if it's just an extension to the brushing teeth habit. So you connect it to an existing habit and you start tiny. And there are just 2 more concepts for us to learn. The first is that it should be a reliable trigger, the existing habit. So I'll give you an example. I decided that I will put my daughter on the school bus and then go to the gym. The school bus comes around 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Is that a reliable trigger?
No,
Why not?
because the bus may come late sometimes, but so that you'll miss your time, right? Going to gym at 7:30.
That is one problem. The second, what is the bigger problem? In the interest
You're
of time. Yeah, sorry, go
you're
ahead.
relying on one more reason.
No. The simple reason. The school doesn't work on Saturday and Sunday. And there may be school holidays and all that. So it's not reliable enough. And time is a bad trigger, which is why 6:30 a.m. you you say do something and that time passes, you no longer can do it. So time is not a good reliable trigger. So that's why brushing teeth. Why did I do it on the international flight? Because I brushed. It was a long flight. I slept, woke up, brushed my teeth, and I did my habit. So we will give you some choices to make. We have chosen 3 or 4 reliable triggers that work for most people. There's only one other concept, which is called as the 20-second rule that we have to remember. Now let's take the same example. After I put my daughter on the school bus, I will go to the gym, right? The school bus was on time, but I still could not execute on the going to the gym. And the hint is in the 20-second rule. Can anybody guess why I wasn't able to execute?
If you don't make a decision within 20 seconds, you will not do it.
Correct, but I already made the decision, no, that I'm going to go to the gym after I put my daughter on the school bus. The bus came sharp at 7:30.
Yeah, but once you put your daughter in the bus, you within 20 seconds you have to execute it.
Yeah, correct. Why wasn't I able to execute it within 20 seconds?
Something strongly triggered you, then going for a gym.
Okay, it's an interesting finding, right? What happens is, when I put my daughter on the school bus, I am in my previous night's dress. I have to change into gym gear. And where is the gym? It's not in my house. So I have to drive somewhere. Gone. So you're right. But the reason is that this 20-second rule you can think of as the time the tiny demon gives you before it distracts you.
Okay. Got it.
Which is why I was failing. I used to think, oh, I will go and run. I didn't realize that this 20-second rule was affecting me. So it's a very important rule. So what are the 3 concepts here? Connect it to an existing habit, which is a reliable trigger. Start small. Had I started with 50 push-ups straight away, I wouldn't have done it. Third is the 20-second rule. Within 20 seconds, do it. That's all you need to remember. So we actually have an app in which we will do this, but we will not do that here. We'll just do it on paper. I'll give you on 5 minutes, and I'll also send you to a link where you can download a tracking sheet and you can print out that tracking sheet. Or if you all want to be onboarded into the app, we can do that subsequently. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Just choose the habit and the triggers that you want to. And I will ask 1 or 2 of you to tell me what you have designed. So first choose the trigger, then you choose the exercise, then you decide the starting count, and then decide when 120 days how much you want to grow it to.
I think we all have made our decisions, I think.
Okay, can a few of you unmute and tell me what you have decided?
I choose after brushing teeth for reliable trigger,
Yeah.
and then I chose burpees for chosen exercise, and
Starting count.
starting count is 5 burpees.
Okay, and target.
Like 5 burpees 10 times. 50.
Your target is 10 burpees.
Yes.
Okay. Can I request you to start at 2 burpees?
Yes.
So this is an important thing, right? You're all very young. It's not actually about the capability to do it that gets us. See, all of us, I mean, especially people of your age group here, most of you can actually go out and run for 1 hour very easily. So it is not a capability thing, it's a mindset thing. If you tell yourself, hey, I will just, which is why I don't recommend running is because you need running shoes, you need to find a space to run. That violates the 20-second rule. So you first build your tiny grit, and after that you will be able to do almost anything that you wish to do. So 2 burpees and go to 10 or 15 you can try. It's an exceptionally good exercise. Good choice. Let's do one more.
I chose after brushing teeth.
Okay.
And then Surya Namaskar.
Okay.
I would like to do 1 set of Surya Namaskars on
Very
day
good.
1. And I would like to do 15 sets every day in 30 days.
Yeah, in 120 days, maybe you can hit that number. Surya Namaskar, if you are not familiar with it, this is the hardest of the 6 exercises.
I used to
yeah,
do
you
that.
can try.
I used to do that for many years, and then I stopped a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say, right? This is a capability. It's not a capability thing, it's a mindset thing.
Yes.
It's possible that you're able to do it. That's okay, you can adjust it. This is not written in stone. Starting with 1 is a very good idea. Let's do one more, please. What about the host, Deepak? Have you decided?
Yes, sir. My reliable trigger will be after getting off the bed.
Okay.
And my chosen exercise is like every day I do cardio workout, sir. Like 1 set, 5 minutes of.
No, this is a new
workout
habit
session.
you're building. So don't connect it to things that you're already doing.
I mean, I'm doing cardio right now, so I think I'm going to take push-ups now.
Okay, is your cardio done right after getting off the bed?
No, sir. After getting off the bed, I'll brush my teeth and I'll start the workouts, the cardio.
Yeah, okay. So after getting off the bed, you do this push-ups, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
great.
I'm aiming at around 10 push-ups under 30 seconds. So that's 1 rep. So daily 3 reps. So so I'm planning on increasing 1 rep like every 2-3 days, or maybe every day.
Yeah, you start with 5 push-ups, my recommendation, and then try to go to 30 or so. And see, you are doing it continuously, not as sets.
Okay.
Try 5 to start with, even though you're, like I said, it's not a capability thing, it's a mindset thing. Doing something daily is hard. As some of you that do it daily will already know that. Anyway, this is very good. Hope all of you got it. You can do the same thing at work also, but we are not going to cover this today. So this is the question. I already do 180 minutes of vigorous exercise a week. Do I need to do this? And what do you all think?
Isn't that a choice? If you want to, then you should do it. Otherwise,
Yeah, so there is always a choice, right? Nobody can force you to do anything. The point I'm making is this habits you're doing to build tiny grit. See, we have not really formally learned habit formation so far. Whatever it is that we are doing in our life, we have done it through happenstance. We have not learned formal habit formation techniques. I don't know why nobody taught us this simple thing. So this is about learning, building subconscious processes and building this tiny grit. You won't have tiny grit even if you do 180 minutes of vigorous exercise a week.
yes, because you have to do 180 minutes in a habit way. Like you're going to say,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it exactly after brushing my teeth every single day,
Correct.
7 days
Correct.
a week. So suppose say you do 180 minutes on Monday and then you don't do it for next one, then you do it next week on Tuesday,
Yeah,
then
correct.
that is not going to work.
Yeah, as well as there is some connection between tiny. So I interviewed a marathoners because I was thinking people who run marathons will have tiny grit. Unfortunately, they don't. They may have some other grit, but they won't have tiny grit to do the green zone tasks. And I realize it's because we have isolated some 10 language of the subconscious. One of them is that it has to be tiny. It has to be fine grained. So subconscious cannot latch on to something that you do for an hour, 2 hours like that. So it's very important that it is tiny. So we'll move on. I see there is where we teach a lot of people, including CXOs, junior people, everybody. These skills are human in nature, but then senior people tend to think, oh, this is not for senior people. I don't know why people think that. But recently, I got this journal post from a CXO that works with us. She said that she was not able to do push-ups even after 5 years of exercising, but in tiny habits, she was able to do 40 knee push-ups. And I looked at her record, and this is the response I gave her. In less than 5 months, she was able to beat her 5-year record because of this whole subconscious versus conscious thing. The 3 days a week program does not build the subconscious thing. So that's why this subconscious thing is super important. Now in our app, right, we journal and we celebrate it on WhatsApp. We create a WhatsApp group and do it. We can do it if you all like to do it that way. Can anybody guess what are we celebrating? Every day I will give you a sheet, you can tick it and you can celebrate it within your own. What exactly are we celebrating?
If we are aiming at the 2 push-ups per day, doing 3 is the celebration on that day, I guess.
Actually, doing the 2 itself is a celebration. Can you guess why?
We are building, right? Because
I think it's willpower. If we start one thing and complete it, it's called willpower. I think. So
Tiny grit, yeah. So it's like beating the tiny demon. Every day we do it, we beat the tiny demon. So we become over a period of time, as I showed the math, 10x stronger than the tiny demon. So that's what we are celebrating. Now what will happen is that regardless of all our plans, right, exigencies do come. Somebody near and dear could fall sick, or you may be sick yourself, God forbid. In those days, in order to not lose the slot in the subconscious, what you do is after the reliable trigger, do a 20 count, breathe in and breathe out. Pranayam, basic pranayam. Do that 20 times and then put a tick. But then the one to watch out for is the fake exigency. Can anybody guess what a fake exigency is? What is an example of a fake exigency?
not doing but ticking the mark.
Yeah, that is one. Why would you do that? Is because something like this could happen, right? When I was in college, I used to stay up late till 3 a.m. chatting with my friends. And then I wake up in the morning, hey, let's skip the exercise today. That is fake exigency. So if you override it on those days, your tiny grit will build faster. So it's very important to recognize this tiny demon character which is whispering in your ears not to do it. So how do you know that the subconscious is engaged? After a few days, you will notice that the reliable trigger will prompt you. After you brush the teeth, you will hear one faint signal inside your head. Hey, you have to do that exercise thingy. You may miss that. If you are very careful, you can notice it. But you will definitely notice this character. It will always try to derail. Even after 10 years, I still have the tiny demon coming once in a while. It doesn't come that often, but it still tries to get me. It's always waiting for that opportunity to get you off of your routine. So you can definitely recognize that one. This is team sport. This we can skip. So you can think of this tiny grit as a journey of personal mastery. In the beginning, we were discussing about personal branding and all that. So I've used this tiny habits and journaling method to fix many things. I noticed you're all doing gratitude, which is fantastic. Fitness, rising early, controlling my out of control eating habits, storytelling, how I did it. I actually did a fortnightly 3-minute Thursday series, which I still do. I've done it now for more than 3.5 years. That kind of brought storytelling into my top of mind. So anytime I make a presentation, I use storytelling. In fact, you will notice that this presentation also uses the storytelling technique that I teach. So like that, bit by bit, I have tried to fix many of the problem areas in my life. And a lot of our mentees of the Tiny Magiq programs have fixed many of these problems using the techniques that we teach. So you can also try. Since you're all starting young, this might be super duper for you. I wish I knew any of this when I was your age. By that time I learned tiny habit, I was, 43 or so.
We have a gratitude hour, which one of the students does every week. Okay. And so,
nice.
Yeah, so she, encourages everyone to do journaling, the storytelling, all of that. So that is one of the habits. That is one of the habits that everyone is strengthening here in the team.
Yeah, correct. Very nice. So I do a gratitude prayer within my family. Me, my wife, and child, we do it every day. That kind of. And in Tiny Magiq, every week when we meet, the first 15-20 minutes is gratitude to the other people. Whoever you collaborated with that week, you do that, and it's dramatically changed the relationships in the team, you can say. Previously, we used to be, and we are a virtual company, right? So we were not really connected to each other at a deeper level. Now it's so nice to see that. So I think gratitude is a fantastic thing that I'm glad that you all are taking that. Pokioki Rohit, yeah, that is a lean word. It's from Japanese. It means mistake proofing. So I will post you guys this link.
Do you think you can share us your PPT?
Yes, of course. I'm just going to show you that. In fact, our entire material is on.
It's all okay. It's all already
all
on
online.
tinymagiq.com.
It's not on tinymagiq.com.
Okay.
It's on. It's our methodology site, which is called hypoha.com. I just posted it on the chat box.
Okay.
I will just share my screen one more time. Okay. You can go to hypoha.com. You can actually see our digital transformation methodology here. And you can see Tiny Grit here.
Okay.
You can download the slides. You can also go to YouTube, which I highly recommend. There are these short videos. Okay. We have converted the whole thing into 5-10 minute videos that you can watch. Yeah.
Nice.
All the things we teach, our digital transformation is all here. Now, for you to track your habits without, what do you call it, the app, you can go here. I'll post this link also in the chat box. You can go there and you can download the sheet of paper. Put your name, put your date, print this and paste it somewhere, and you put a tick every day after you do the habit. This will help you keep track. Originally, when we started the company, we started with this sheet of paper. We did not have our own mobile app. You can do the
I used
same thing with work habits also.
I used to do this when I was very young, even when I was 7, 8 years old. I used to do this on my calendar in our home. So our calendar always had when I woke up. And
same thing. Same idea.
Yes.
I don't know if you did this in my childhood. In my family, we had this tradition of you have to put a bindi on Hanuman's tail. You have to do a 45-day, and there are special Hanuman pictures with a long tail available. So every day you have to say Hanuman Chalisa and put a bindi on Hanuman's tail. You did that 45 days, then that's
Your
a good
habit.
thing. That
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, some of us uses the board to tick. Yeah, exactly the same idea. So when we started, because we are a startup company, we didn't want to invest in software without knowing whether people will build the track the habit. So the sheet of paper is what everybody used, and that gave us the confidence that yeah, an app is needed. Now we have a very sophisticated journaling app. So that's all I had today. I can keep talking about this, but I will stop.
I have a question which may be kind of dumb. This is Geeta.
Sure, Geeta.
How important, let's say we pick certain habits, how important is it that the habit is meaningful and it feeds into a certain goal, or does that not matter, to give a tiny bit?
That's a fantastic question. That's why we chose fitness and these 6 habits. Now the thing is, why fitness? Fitness is super important to all of us. Whether we agree with it or not, it is important. In fact, I often say that is the only thing money cannot buy. Everything else you can buy. So we all know that we have to be fit and we have to exercise, but to get ourselves to do it is, speaking from personal experience, I struggled for 17 years. I tried almost every exercise form under the sun. Initially thinking that what is about the exercise form that was the problem. I didn't realize that it is a mindset problem that I was working on. It took me 17 years to figure that out. And when I hit the tiny habits method, so it is super important to pick habits that are important to you. I mean, probably that is the most important thing. The question that you asked is fantastic. If it is not important to you, you are not going to build the tiny grid to do it consistently. Now, the thing is, as I pointed out in the Kavi matrix, importance is high. That alone does not make it enough because we don't have the willpower to stick with it. A lot of people, including me, will tell you, oh, exercise is important. Sure. Is there anybody that will, in this room, disagrees that exercise is not important? But then we can't do it. So important by itself is not sufficient. I am sure you're all studying in college. It is important to get good marks. Does anybody disagree with that? No. But then to prepare ahead, study, all that requires willpower that we may not bring to the table. Like I said, I was a bad example in college. I will study just one day before the exam. I was stupid. What else can I say? I didn't understand the importance of gathering the knowledge that was given to me. It's unfortunate, but that is who I was. Yeah. We have 3 more minutes. We can take one more question, maybe.
Yes, sir. One question.
Yeah, please.
In the bottom of the logo of Tiny Magiq, there is something written like delivering happiness.
Yeah.
Is it comes true at every point where it delivers happiness? Will this happiness mix?
It's a great question. My co-founder Kumaran actually put up that he designed the logo and also has put delivering happiness. We call our methodology high performance happily achieved. That is, we believe that pain should be purposeful. It should not be that there will be no pain at all, but that pain that you encounter will be minimal. And this is a super important reason. If you put stress on people, right, you can make them do things. If you put sufficient stress on people, you can make them do things. But when you take out the stress, behavior will go back to its original. But if you are able to achieve that whatever goal you are achieving happily, the chances that you will stick with it are higher. That's why we go with tiny habits. I mean, you can imagine, right? As a 54-year-old, I can do 60 push-ups at one go. You all at your age can do anything that your mind pleases. But you can do it happily, bit by bit. I never stress myself out. 2 push-ups, 3 push-ups, 5 push-ups, 6 push-ups, slowly and steadily, you get that. Don't stress yourself. Hey, next month I have to do 50 push-ups. Well, yeah, I might have achieved that, but then after 2 months I would have stopped because my mind wasn't ready for it. So we believe that we use techniques which bring stress, and our objective is to bring techniques that don't add too much stress. Right? Just a little bit of stress, it is sort of like if you take an injection from your doctor, it is painful, but you know that it's in the larger interest of your health. So it's that much pain. It should be very purposeful. Thank you for that very good question, Dhanush.
Yes, sir.
We ran
Thank
out
you
of
so
time
much.
anyway.
Still we have 1 more minute, sir.
Okay, Mansani, Chandan Mansani is raised his hand.
Yeah. First of all, I explain my goal and then what a habit I need to do. My goal is to have good health after some 50 or 40 years or 60 years. So what I do daily is 10 sit-ups. I believe strongly that if I do it daily, I'm definitely going to have good health. Does it going to work?
Okay, are you asking if you just did 10 sit-ups?
Yeah.
It is enough to be healthy and fit when you are 50?
Yeah.
What do you think is the answer?
I believe that it is going to work. According to you, does it mean a proper belief or not?
Okay, so this is a very, very complicated topic, but I will tell you this in simple terms. The fitness is a whole field by itself. It is such a big field that I have a personal trainer that I work with every weekend, 2 days a week for the last 10 years. And I can tell you I have learned this much about fitness. The thing that I have learned is this at a high level. You have to exercise every muscle in your body, and there are 5 aspects of fitness: flexibility, endurance, cardiovascular fitness, coordination, and strength. You have to build these 5 aspects. If you're really curious, I can introduce you to my trainer and you can take lessons from him. Now that everything is happening on WhatsApp, you can consider that. But what you can do is, there is a video that I did on the Tiny Magiq channel, which is, "Will any girl marry me?" Right? You can watch that. I mean, my insecurity started from when I was slightly older than you all. I had joined the workplace. I had a paunch and I thought no girl will marry me. I was already a very shy and diffident young man, and this kind of made me even more diffident. So my friends suggested that I should take up fitness, and my struggle started. Of course, I got married even with my paunch. That didn't seem to matter. But my insecurity about fitness. And in that, I mentioned these 5 aspects of fitness that you can go through.
What we do in our program, which we have been doing for 4 years, is the emotional well-being is what we consider the root of everything. So we don't look
Fantastic.
at accomplishments in isolation. We look at accomplishments along with the emotional well-being. Emotional well-being, which leads to accomplishments, is what we do here. That's why many of our young people, they work every day from 12 to 16, 17 hours every day, but they're excited because they are doing it with a free mind, with a clarity of thought, saying, hey, I'm doing it because I love it. I'm providing value to myself and other people and the world. So we use some methods like infinite mindset and values. Always think about other people, respect yourself and respect other people. So these kind of small things, which again, like you, I also didn't do it when I was younger. So this caused me immense difficulties, and by within 30s and late 30s, I started figuring out how to be all of that. So many of our young people actually who are in here have been practicing these kind of qualities for 4 years now.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I think you're all on the right track. It's very impressive. What you're doing.
Thank you very much for coming and giving this talk. This is really, really good. Deepak, do you want to end the call?
If anybody else have any doubts, you can ask. Not
what I suggest, Deepak, is we are out of time. You can email me any questions. I am also available on WhatsApp. I will just post my email here. I am available on all social media channels as well. You can reach out to me through any method. And I'm always happy to answer questions from any of you.
Go ahead, close the channel, close the session.
Last one feedback. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for making this presentation for us. Yes, this has helped us how our tiny habits every day can make to build our willpower, and that's how. And thank you so much for answering my question, how we can deliver happiness, and that's really awesome. Yes, we want to be the part of the happiness. That's how we collaborate with everyone and connect with everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting to us.
Thank
we
you,
will be expecting that we will be going together in the life like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Great talking to all of you. Thank you, Ayan and Shravan and Deepak, for the opportunity. I enjoyed talking to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Before ending this session, I would like Sandhya to go ahead with today's gratitude quote.
Thank you, Deepak. Hello, everyone. And the quote is: in ordinary life, we hardly realize that we receive a great deal more than we give. And that is only with gratitude that life becomes rich. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Thank you.
It's a privilege to be the host of this session. I am grateful to each and everyone's presence and patience in this session. Thank you and have a fantabulous week ahead.